I loved being there, and I was talking to everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day shooting, the director, who's the man? I'm so bad with. Anyway, the director or the producer came up to me and said, "We're going to use you again. You're going to come back."
Nice.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, that's wow. And then I came back a couple of months later, and I sold them the magnet, the big magnet. And that was kind of cool. So that was 2 right there. And then the big guy, the writer, the owner. I always forget his name. Vince Gilligan. Vince Gilligan came up to me and said, "Yeah, I'm going to use you." Yeah, that was all he said. But that was enough. That was enough. So so look at how that turned out. And empty room, I had a little attitude there. No respect. Nobody's here. I'll just throw this out. Boom. Can I do it again? You want to do it again? No. Boom. And then Vince comes up and says, "Hey, I'm gonna use you again. It's just fine. You're great." And Bryan Cranston, the same thing. He liked what I did, and I'm a big fan of Bryan Cranston too. So to be able to work with him was amazing, and then for him to like what I did, because we rode back. We were out in the desert, so it took an hour to ride back out from the desert all the way back to the hotel. So we just talked, going and coming. And he's a really nice guy. To this day, he says hello to me. Whenever I see him, if we're at some event or something. So he'd come over to me, say, "Hey, Larry, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he's a really cool guy. But what a great actor! So that was a process which I love because I picked up some really cool pointers from him.
It sounds,
as far as camera work.
It sounds amazing, too. We have a few minutes left here with Larry Hankin. And how many other movies that you're involved in when they say, "Hey, we need you now," somebody's got fired, and then you just read some lines and you got the part? How many other movies or TV projects that have happened to you the same way?
Well, enough for me to be able to tell you 2 of them right off the bat. But that's ordinary. I mean, that's the acting business. That's show business. I mean, it happens to other people too. People get fired. While I was doing Escape from Alcatraz, one of the guards got fired, and so I heard the word go out on the floor. They came over to Don Siegel and said, "Hey man, okay, so we just let that guard go. When do you want to see the new people we got to replace him?" And he had to, take time off of directing to go, see the audition. So it happened while I was on the set. Somebody was fired and brought in.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then they gave me when I auditioned for Escape from Alcatraz. They gave me a choice. They said, "We have 2 openings. One was the guard." And Don Siegel said, when they were discussing it right in front of me, it was the casting director and Don Siegel and me were just kind of sitting close together, but they considered me not in the room. They didn't even pay any attention to me. They were just discussing me in front of me. Like, well, there's only 2 things left. Can you do you think you want him for the guard, or do you want him for Charlie Butts? Well, I don't know. What do you think? Well, I don't think he can beat up Clint Eastwood. The guard has to beat up Clint Eastwood. It was auditioning for the guard who beats him up when he's in solitary. So he said, "Well, I don't think he can beat up Clint Eastwood." So I said, "Well," and then he turns to me. I haven't read the script. I don't know what's going on even. I don't know. I have no idea. And he turns to me, Don Siegel, and he says, "Which do you want to do? You want to do the guard or you want to do Charlie Butts?" And I go, I don't know. And he says, why don't you try Charlie Butts first? Let's try that one out. I said, "Okay, fine." He says, "You want any time to look it over?" He hands me the script, the entire screenplay, 100 pages.
Oh my gosh!
Says, She says, "You want to read it? You want to take some time and look at the part?" Or I said, "No, man." Right away, I'm getting disgusted. This is a setup. I mean, if this is a major part in a major, I need overnight. I can't just, unless it's 4 lines, and this wasn't 4 lines.
Mm.
So I just got disgusted right there. And I go, "Oh, well, okay, let me just read. I'll read it now. Let's go." Because I want to get out of there. I thought. So he said, "Okay, I'll read with you." And I go, "Oh, okay." So now the director is going to be looking down at the script. The guy who I want to watch me while I'm auditioning, he's going to read with me. That means he's not going to be looking at me half the time. Okay, fine. Go. And he starts reading. And he just says, "All right," about halfway through the scene. He goes, "Oh, fine. Okay. You got the part." Just
nice.
like that. But they don't tell you that. They don't ever say that in the audition.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and I had that attitude, because the next thing that he said, "You got the part." And,
wow.
And then there was this pause, because I just looked at him like, "Oh, I don't know what just happened." And he said, "You think I'm kidding, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he says, "I tell you what, go home, sit by the phone, and see what happens, okay?" And I went, "Okay." He said, "Thank you very much." And I got up and I left. And by the time I got home, the phone rang. And he goes, "You got the part."
Nice.
So, I mean, come on, man. How do you process that each time? So that's why I don't like auditions. It's like they're throwing curveballs every time. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I got the job. I don't know why I didn't get the job. And then if I don't get the job, I watch the movie to see who got the job, and I can't understand why they got the job and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, so I want to make my own stuff,
It sounds like
see where I'm going with this?
It really sounds like you're blazing your trail, and you've got a few minutes left here. What are some of your favorite projects you got involved in? The ones we haven't talked about. What are some of your other challenging ones, and what do you consider most memorable moments?
Memorable moments? What do you mean, auditioning or actually doing the job?
Just like being on film. It can be like a blooper. It can be heartwarming, or it can be just just outright funny. Yeah, the ones we haven't mentioned.
Things that I ever like. One is an obvious one, and that was what I did on Barry, because that was just a stretch for me. I've never done anything like that. I pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like it. And the other one was in Star Chamber, which is a very obscure movie, and I played an undercover cop, and I really liked what I did in that, because I was very natural and I was really myself, but I made the character work to move the plot forward, because it was what me and my partner, we were 2 undercover cops, what our roles were supposed to be, what our characters, was to move the plot forward in a very particular way.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. And I did that with my character. And it was the most natural thing I've ever done, to my mind. I mean, it's I don't think it's a standout role or anything, but for what I wanted to do and how I fit in the movie and what an actor is supposed to do in helping to tell the story, I thought I did a very, very good job. And it's one of my favorites. But, you might look at it and go, "Oh, yeah, well, Larry's good. I don't understand what he thinks is so great about it." But, yeah. So those are the 2. Other than that, I don't know. It's a crapshoot, because what I want to do is my roles, what I write in my head. Did you see? Did I tell? Did you see just a question, a little 2.5 minutes short? I just did.
Actually, I think you did really good with it too. You pretty much summed it up. And who do you consider biggest influences in your career?
Wow, my 2 biggest My biggest influence on my career.
Correct, yeah. Or it can be a few, too. You can just you do one, a couple, a few, several. It's your choice.
I would say Alan Meyerson, because he got me to the West Coast in San Francisco. So he got me to the West Coast where I could do movies down in L.A. He was the director of the committee. And, God, I don't know. I can't say who's. I know, because it's such a hit and miss thing. I never planned any of this. I never, took aim until I got to a couple of years ago where I said, no, I'm just going to do my own movies now. And if the part is great or the money is great or I want to work with the director, that's great. But I don't want to do what I've been doing, which is what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's in other words, that's the platform on which I now want to build what I want to do, which I've never really had.
Mm-hmm.
I just been a bum, a show business bum, going from picture to play to radio commercial to radio play to, there was no why or wherefore going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was always questioning my agents, but this doesn't seem to be adding up. I can't understand where this is going or how I'm going to get to where. But now I do. But that was only in the last couple of years when I finally dropped out. About 3 or 4 years ago, I dropped out, gave up my agent, gave up the thing, and just started working on the money I'd saved up to make my own films. That's what I've been doing.
It does. It does sound interesting too. And of course, before we wrap up, we just want to thank you for your time as well. You've been really great. It's great listening to all your stories and everything. And tell us once again your upcoming projects, what you're doing right now, and what is your website, and how can people reach you?
Well, you can reach me by my Facebook page, Larry Hankin. Just send me a message. My latest project is two. One is it's called Just a Question, and you can see it on Vimeo or on YouTube. Just a Question, Larry Hankin. There's a lot of Just a Question, so it's Just a Question, Larry Hankin, on Vimeo or on YouTube. And I'm making another one. I'm going to make a series of these Just a Questions with this character, and that character is going to be in a series, sitcom. Not a sitcom, a series. For cable that I'm writing now. And the next big project I have is a major motion picture coming out in April or May, and I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't tell you about it.
Okay.
But it's a major motion picture with a major role in it for me, and it's back then, March or April or May.
Okay. All right. We're looking forward to that, and we'll be chatting soon. Thanks once again, Larry.
Yeah.
You've been fantastic, and thanks for your time. Mike. You've been fantastic, and look forward to having you on once again soon.
Cool, Mike. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios at themikewagnershow.com. Visit sonicwebstudios.com today for all your web design needs. If you would like to be a sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, call or text at 701-301-7705 or email to Mike at themikewagnershow.com. If you're a listener and would like to support our program, visit themikewagnershow.com and click on the support button and donate today. Thanks for listening, and tune in again next time on The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com.